when a company grows, one is the organic path in a business. You sign up customers, you get some money, and you invest that money, and you sign up more customers, and you grow steadily. That is the organic path. Then you have the inorganic path. You say, I'm going to speak to some VCs, venture capitalists, I'm going to raise X million dollars, and I'm just going to acquire a running company. I'm going to acquire a company with already customers and everything else. And then suddenly, you're on a different growth trajectory. So the organic path of each individual is to go through many life cycles, millions of them, to reach that state where they have the consciousness of a divine being. But then you also have the inorganic path, the extraordinary path. Even Buddha called it the extraordinary path to enlightenment, which is, let me associate myself with somebody who's enlightened, or let me gain wisdom from my scriptures, or let me meditate on it, or let me devote my life to it. There are people who've been playing tennis for 25-30 years and they've never been outside their city, let alone win a championship. And there are those who've practiced it so hard for just 5-6 years and they go on to win world championships, because it's a difference in practice. So enlightenment is reaching that state where you are aware of your desires to begin with. You're aware of your thoughts, your desires. Because what is a desire? What is the definition of a desire? It is something you want. But that's the textbook definition. The real definition of a desire is, it's a thought that you haven't been able to abandon. It's a thought that you haven't been able to let go. I think of a cappuccino, and I want that cappuccino. It's a thought that came to my mind, right? If I let go of that thought, I don't want a cappuccino. Fine, that will not translate into desire. But if I'm not able to drop that thought, I would want that coffee. That's a desire. As long as I have a desire, a thought that has turned into desire, naturally, my mind will propel me to somehow fulfill that desire. It'll say, let's go find a Starbucks or something, a cafe where I can have it, where I can fulfill it. So desires make the world move. If you have no desires, it's not that you won't enjoy your coffee. You may be driving, say, let's stop, let's have a coffee. Somebody says, do you want to have a coffee? You might enjoy it. It's intentionally I'm talking about coffee because it's cold, and I think you guys will soon start missing coffee. I don't drink, I'll just walk into my hut and be okay. And then you'll say, okay, there's a cafe on the way, let's have a coffee. Hot, good, coffee with froth. And if I don't get that coffee, and I have the desire for it, it will also turn into emotion. It will trigger many emotions. It will evoke emotions. Oh, I'm feeling frustrated, I really need a coffee right now. It all started from a thought. Enlightenment is to be able to see your thought before it emerges, before it knocks on the wall of your mind. And then you're not just engrossed in the thoughts of your welfare and your own desires. You also see the thoughts of other people. Not necessarily reading them, but you understand, you see their desires, what they want, and then you automatically work towards them because you feel so connected with everybody. Because now you're divine, pretty much. That their pain is your pain, their happiness is your happiness. You can't help but feel compelled to give them what they want. That's enlightenment. In darkness, you only live for yourself. In darkness, you say, okay, what object am I hitting? You can only move so far, and you have to move slow. In enlightenment, you see light, and you see everybody. See, this person also has needs, this person also has needs, this person also has needs, and some of those I can fulfill. And that's why in the Vedas or in scriptures or in yogic texts or meditational texts, the importance of guru is mentioned. So you don't have to go through the same, you still go through the same hurdles, but so that you can accelerate your journey. And somebody asked, there was a saint in India called Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He was born in West Bengal. And somebody asked him, is it indispensable to have a guru? Is it really needed? And he lived by the Ganges, and in the Ganges there was a steamer going, and that was dragging a boat with it. And he said, do you see that boat? See, it could also cross the river on its own. But now because it's tied to a steamer, it's dragging it fast, and it's going to get there sooner. So similarly, when you make certain right moves in terms of your practice, in terms of your association with the right people, you automatically change. Your priorities, your thinking, your way of acting, behaving, conduct, your desires, everything goes through subtle but deep and irreversible transformation. And then, rather than taking the staircase, you no longer take the stairs to go to floor 7th floor. You simply press a button, elevator opens, you hop in, and boom, and it takes you right on 7th floor. You still go up, but you've now chosen a different method, a different medium. When you are no longer affected by the fulfillment or non-fulfillment of your desires, you may still have desires. You may still want a coffee, but you will not be upset if you don't get one. That's enlightenment. Because when your mind is that still pond at that time, then there'll be no ripples anymore. And that stillness is enlightenment. Indriyanam hi chartam yan mano anuvidiyate tadasya harti pragyam vairunam mibhamvasi. When your desires, your senses are not in your control at all, Krishna says, such a person may do any external outside rituals, may do chanting, may do worship, may do prayers. None of that has any meaning if internally he is constantly working towards fulfillment of his desires. The fate of such an individual is like the fate of a ship without rudder in a big sea. Wherever Vayunami Vamasi, if the current and the winds will be northward, he'll automatically start going there. If it's southward, it's going to go south. So when people, their desires, they're sitting still, a desire comes, I want this. The desire is like that gust of winds. It'll just propel them in the direction it's moving. But when you are still, you become a mountain. Mountains don't move. Whether that's storms, winds, nothing. They stay where they are. They don't move. So that's why Krishna said, Sthavranam Himalayasmi. Of everything that is stable and still, I am the Himalayas, Arjuna. Because Himalayas don't move, no matter what.